Hi guys, welcome to Maybe News. Today I've made you a video with a list of 10 the worst Marvel Comics adaptations. Let's get started. 10. Thor: The Dark World. In this movie, Thor and Loki, usually conflicted brothers, reconcile and join forces to defend Nine Lands against the attack of the Dark Elves, led by Malekith, who plans to plunge the world into the darkness. The world movie premiere took place on 22nd October 2013. Also, it earned over $644 million when its budget was only $170 million. But let's be honest, money is not everything, because the movie critics were not so kind. On Rotten Tomatoes, critics gave Marvel's production a 66% score with an average of 6 on 10 points. The movie met with a very mixed opinions of the audience. On IMDb, the movie got almost 7 on 10 points. 9. The Incredible Hulk. It is 2008 American superhero movie based on the Marvel Comics character the Hulk, produced by Marvel Studios. The main character, Bruce Banner, as a result of irradiation, has gained the ability to turn into a green monster called Hulk, but it only happens when he's put under a lot of pressure. And since then, Banner has been hiding from the world and looking for an antidote to his condition. The average grade for this movie is once again 6 on 10 points, and according to a lot of readers, this is the worst adaptation of Marvel Comics in history. 8. The Punisher. It is a 1989 American action movie directed by Mark Goldblatt. Even though it is based on a popular Marvel comics of the same name, the movie changed many details of the character's comic book in origin. For example, the main character does not wear the trademark school shirt. The title role is played by a Swedish actor, Dolph Lundgren. And although the movie is now considered to be a cult action movie of the 80s, but when it came out, it received mainly negative reviews from movie critics. Fans accused Punisher of having too much differences between the movie and its prototype. Even the most cartoon-like element of the movie, the homeless alcoholic helper speaking in rhymes, was invented for the big screen. 7. Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. It's an American action, thriller and fantasy movie made in 2011. Even the first movie, which was made in 2007, raised doubts, but the second part definitely did not appeal to the audience. Why? According to the audience, the movie is boring and tacky. It is a perfect example of a production that was only profit-driven, made to attract the crowds paying for the ticket, but there was no artistic vision in it. The Ghost Rider producers put too much money and not enough heart in the movie. 6. Fantastic Four is an American-German movie production directed by Tim Story. The movie is about adventures of 4 superheroes based on the Marvel Comics theme of the same name. The director of the movie, Josh Trank, spared no criticism on Fox producers who interfered with his vision and made constant changes in the script. But on the other hand, the web was full of rumors about the director clinging to the actors with the smallest details and behaving at least inappropriate. In such bad working conditions, a good movie could not be made. The production was slaughtered by the reviewers. 5. Fantastic Four. This time we're talking about a 1994 production. Work on this legendary piece of crap started in the 80s. Then, Marvel, due to financial problems, sold out the rights to screen his comics books on a massive scale. Many titles have fallen into the wrong hands. After watching this final version, the studio directors confiscated all the copies of the movie. Actors who took part in promotional tour were told to go home. Actually, everyone were on the same page. This movie cannot see the daylight. Stan Lee, the comic book author, after a few years said that this movie was never supposed to be shown. Not to anyone. When it turned out that it was no longer possible to pretend, Marvel made up a clever lie. They said that Fantastic Four is not a movie, it's a TV show pilot. When a few years later the tape with the whole movie leaked out, there was no point in lying anymore. Today, Corman's Fantastic Four is shown at bad cinema festivals as its peak achievement. 4. Daredevil. It is a 2003 American superhero movie written and directed by Mark Steven Jensen. The movie is about an orphaned boy, Matt Murdock, who was blinded by a toxic waste spill. As it later turns out, as a result of his blindness, the hero's other senses become so intense that his hearing works like a sonar. Daredevil was slowly becoming a thing of the past until Ben Affleck was chosen as a Batman, and suddenly all the fans of comic book screenings remember this production. Affleck himself has repeatedly said that this movie obviously didn't work out for him. Moreover, Daredevil's costume is considered to be one of the worst in history. 3. Elektra is a 2005 Canadian-American superhero movie directed by Rob Bowman. Also, it is a spin-off from Daredevil. Elektra is a paid assassin who is brought back to life by forces of goodness, and then is to kill widower Mark Miller and his 13-year-old daughter Abby. However, instead of completing the task, Elektra befriends Mark and Abby and decides to defend them from her client. Not only did the movie repeat all of the mistakes of its forerunner, but it also added paranormal outfits that did not match the mix. 2. Captain America. It is a 1979 movie. At the end of the 70s, there was a rush of actors' adaptations of Marvel Comics books, probably even bigger than the current one. Most of these titles cannot be taken seriously today, but one did not do well even at the time of its debut. The movie is mostly bad acting and almost complete disconnection from original comic book. Instead of a guy who wanted to fight so much for his country that he went through hell and back for it, we get an ex-soldier who almost through the entire movie cares only about riding his motorcycle. Not the best Captain America movie ever. 1. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, long before Samuel L. Jackson, Fury was played by another famous face, David Hasselhoff, the Baywatch star. Agent Nick Fury is asked to fight the minions of Hydra after exiling himself in the Yukon since the end of the Cold War. Basically, that's the whole plot. According to the audience, the movie had bad one-liners, huge leaps of logic, and that made the action hard to follow. So the movie earned 16% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and the series that the movie was meant to launch never went forward. And that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching, and see you in the next episode.